And look at that. Hello, everybody. It is 3:33. I am here on time. And if you are too, then we're all seeing 3:33 together. And 3 is a great number. So here I am in my newly rearranged studio space where I have a decent painting area finally. Um, I can stand and paint comfortably. It's awesome. And today, as I mentioned in my announcements that I was doing this, um, it is my last day with Wi-Fi for a while. And that's okay, because I proved to myself last summer, using a summer desk beside the Toronto Public Library, lovely little space underneath trees, I can survive off of my cell phone data on doing stuff like this. It's just not frequent, mind you. It hasn't been as frequent as it should have been while I had Wi-Fi. So I'm coming at you. You'll see me looking back and forth between cameras. I'm getting used to looking at the camera instead of the computer for the YouTube feed. I'm feeding off of 2 devices because I do not have, well, for one thing, Instagram won't let me, which really sucks because the camera that I'm using for YouTube is, I don't know, I like it. I don't know what people think of it, but it's nice to be able to use it for stuff. I wanted to be able to use this space and all of this setup and everything that I have before. Again, I said I am doing my experiment in living life off of my cell phone data. Starting midnight tonight, whether or not it actually goes at midnight, I don't know, but it better not go before, because I have every intention of pushing my unlimited Wi-Fi right till midnight, and then I'll go to bed. And whether or not it's there for a couple more hours, I don't really care. So I've been actually, for anybody who's tuning in that doesn't know me, I refer to myself as a multidisciplinary cathartist. I'm a very emotionally driven person. EDP, I don't know if y'all can see that, is tattooed on the back of my neck. It's a long story, but I am an emotionally dynamic, I'm an emotionally demonstrative person. I think that emotionally demonstrative is probably the best way to describe it. I am a performer by nature. You will see that I am wearing a lab coat that belonged to my father that my sister recently reminded me my father liked to wear while he was doing his experiments in candy making. He was a science teacher. I seem to recall him wearing this for a while he was working on cars. He loved to tinker with things. And my favorite overalls, my Toughskins. I gotta fix that label there. I tripped across these in the summer of 1996 in Kensington Market, and I saw Toughskins. It's like, my God, I grew up in Toughskins. Well, maybe not grew up, but I definitely wore a lot of them. Toughskins and Buster Browns. A lot of hand-me-downs, as you can see. This shirt I actually did buy myself, but yeah, and I don't mind making do. I am a firm believer that our culture got to be a little too disposable. I gotta try not to pontificate too much in this live stream, but what the hell, like, that's part of what I do. I am a communicator. I am a meaning person. I am a human being who's just trying to figure out this ride. I have a lot of things that I want to say, and I'm figuring out ways to say it without, trying to say it all at once. And this is kind of fun, talking to y'all like this. I like having conversations one-on-one, but I am getting very comfortable with this. So as soon as I get, supplemental income going better, you'll see more of me doing this in less and less of a free form and more of a disciplined way. That's one of the biggest casualties in my life, is discipline, or was discipline. And there's a lot of story that you'll hear because I am a storyteller. I am mostly a cautionary tale, but there's value in that. I'm going to pick up my guitar and start, just making sure it's in tune. I have a piece that I wrote a few years back now. I was challenging myself to get better at using my fingers picking strings rather than just hacking away at open chords with a pick, like I do most of the time. What I do well, but I haven't had the discipline to be able to be freeform with the guitar. So that was part of what this is. And as you can see, I am talking over this. I challenged myself to learn how to pick better. And I wanted to write something all on open strings. As you see, my left hand is nowhere near the fretboard. So this is called Unwind. An early recording of it is the background of a soundscape that I did in 2018. That is the last track on my spoken word CD. And it has no words in it, I think. There is human laughter, though. So I hope that whether you're watching now, Katrina Jean, or later, anybody, I hope that helps you unwind a little bit. It helped me unwind a little bit. I don't know if you can hear, I'm a little scratchy in my throat right now. I discovered shortly before all of this that sweetgrass incense really gets up my nose if I am not careful when I'm lighting it. And it is allergy season, so my soft palate, my postnasal drip, and all of that jazz gets to be fun stuff. So yeah, unwind. Sooner or later, I am going to lay down a good track of that. I don't know if you noticed, but I try and I've got to play it more frequently and get into a real groove with it. The first set of the progression. I'm supposed to go through it 4 times at the fastest rate, and then the next time it's 3 at a slower rate, and then the last one is a much slower rate, only once. So sort of bringing it down, unwinding. I'm going to lay down a good track of that and pull out my flute. I have a flute. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, I played the flute along with, from the mid 80s to the mid 90s, basically. I gave up playing. My beautiful son, who helped me make this happen yesterday, I am so grateful. I'm really grateful to be able to comfortably have a good height for this desk easel that I inherited from my mom, who actually, there's a little picture up on the wall here that was something that I found out she and my sister Frances were tag team painting one day. I just find it a very whimsical. There's a spider. There's a whole sort of Little Miss Muffet vibe going on, and I like it. I like playful things. I'm very grateful that I'm at a place where I can be sitting here live, presenting myself to all of you as an artist of many ilks, as I like to say. A multidisciplinary cathartist. I used to call myself a hack of all arts, because, as I mentioned earlier, discipline and me are, we've got a kind of love-hate relationship. I have a love-hate relationship with a lot of things. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. It was, I believe, probably early 1994. It's the one, acronym that, aside from the one tattooed on the back of my neck, that is, fitting, most fitting. I don't know why I'm having some issues, evidently, over at my friend, the friendly Instagram over here just kind of blinked at me for some reason. I don't know why. Somebody has asked to be in my live video, and I am not in a position to touch my phone at the moment. It's kind of set up very precariously. But hi, Kate. Kate, hi, 2002. Yeah, I can't actually poke at my phone. So, where was I? I'm definitely doing this very stream of consciousness. I was here on time, which is actually a miracle in and of itself. But I'm completely unprepared, which is normal, because I live life freeform. Where was I? Oh, yes, grateful to all of the people who have helped me get here to this place. Not just my son for helping me set this up, but for an organization called Workman Arts that, I wouldn't be doing this. I'm painting with oil. That's a portrait of my mother back there that I'm gonna finish one of these days. I can't believe I'm painted. They saved my life. I'm going to be very candid about that. They saved my freaking life. There's a reason why art is on my wrists. And I will never not find ways to be grateful to them. There's more to that I don't really want to get into. I was aware of the existence of Workman Arts for a very long time before I actually realized that they could save my life, and they have. I can't say that enough. Thank you. So I do a lot of things. I make music, I sing. I like to talk. Life, that's why I was talking about Workman Arts. One of the things that has completely saved my life about Workman Arts is I do improv there, and life has always been performance art for me. When I was younger, improv has reminded me of costume. I think I'm remembering doing a test run earlier. I don't know whether or not I've actually gone through this already. This lab coat being my father's. These overalls, like the overalls when I bought them, like I was completely had the costuming in high school. I'm a transit goer, by the way. Big thing about me, you'll see it in my posts, especially if you're a friend of mine on Facebook. You'll know that I'm a pedestrian. I am a dedicated pedestrian. I chose not to be a driver because, quite frankly, I enjoyed taking the TTC. I loved observing people and interacting with people. And one of the things I would do in my early year teens, like 14 to 17, a lot I did. I would be traveling somewhere because I never stayed in my area. I always, was going out to the West End or downtown. And although I've remained living in the same 20-minute walking radius for like 44 to 46 of my almost 50 years of life. Weird, isn't it? So I loved like traveling in the bus and the subway, and I used to actually mastered the art of taking a power nap on the subway. But I would, dress in a certain way, and I would board a bus with an air, maybe I was really upset, like visibly, but not demonstratively, not necessarily saying anything or making any noise, just with my persona, the way that I would board a bus. I liked pretending I was tough a lot. I realized in an incident in my early 20s that I wasn't anywhere near as tough as I thought I was. I have a lot of stories to tell, and I will keep doing that in various ways. A lot of that I do with music. But yeah, so the whole costume thing has become a big thing again for me. I don't need to go shopping. Again, I think I mentioned earlier already that I believe art culture is painfully disposable, and I'm more than happy to make do with things that still have use. So I don't throw very much away. I'm not a hoarder, though. I'm not somebody who goes out and buys certain things I will stock up on because they get used over extended periods of things that you can do that with, that you can use over extended periods of time. But I did for a while there while I was working in an office and stuff. I did shop quite a bit, and I have wardrobes for a few different body sizes. And it's fun that I've lost a lot of weight in the last year because I am experimenting with this whole expressing myself through my wardrobe again. And so, yeah, it's fun. I didn't really plan what I was going to do here today because I don't like planning things. I like letting the universe guide me. And I'm going to try and do this. Maybe I should sing something a little easier first, but I don't really want to. I don't know why. I like to be difficult. Ask anybody who's known me for any length of time. I don't like to be difficult. It just seems to be the way that I'm designed. I let things be as they are, and they usually turn out okay. So I'm going to stop fretting and apologizing. I've been told not to do that. I have a funny story about Alan Parsons, and apologizing, but anyway. Sorry about that. That was very necessary. This was like one of my shower songs. I don't know if anybody sings in the shower like I used to. I can't. I stopped being able to do it a long time ago. And I'm slowly starting to do it again. Me standing in my apartment belting my lungs out, not worried anymore that I'm disturbing my neighbors, is a miracle again. Workman hours, thank you. All of the people who have encouraged me. And, there are a lot of other people along the way. People from Fourth Thursdays at Grossman's, Brian Gladstone and his Saturday open mic at Free Times, places like that. No offense, and I'm going to say this. Anybody from the jam scene that I got involved with for a long time, it wasn't where I belonged. And it's no offense, it's just not where I belonged. I spent a lot of my life, like I said, living within the same 20-minute walking radius. We're going to do this and see if I can sing. Fisherman's Friends. Awesome gift singers. Fisherman's Friends. And so I just made do, right? And again, that really sounds, it's not a snobby thing or anything. It's just not my scene, right? Never was. And I tried desperately to make it be my scene, and it wasn't. And that wasn't healthy for anybody involved, I don't think. Some of you who knew me better might understand what I'm saying. Love you all. Every single one of you who encouraged me there too. And sooner or later, I will come back and visit. But recent events, again, anybody watching who is close to me, recent events have brought up a lot of stuff that I was finally putting behind me. And so it's going to be a little longer than I had hoped. But anybody from that scene, I love you and I miss you. I didn't mean to get like this, but this is the real deal, right? Life is performance art. I really believe that we need to not, I am learning how to not feel like I'm an asshole for feeling. I'm learning how not to worry about how uncomfortable everybody else is that I'm uncomfortable. I should not be an afterthought, especially not to myself. So things you learn, this is a multi-purpose live stream, I guess. Oh my God, I just thought to myself, I am not emulating Russell Brand. Russell Brand is becoming the recovering addict I was, when I started, or, when I was in my groove actually speaking about, probably about 14 years ago. 14 years ago. It'll be 16 years since I've consumed alcohol in May, and that is another miracle. Thank all of the people that have helped me through that too. I think I've had enough of this lozenge. To try and do this. And part of me, always gets worried about doing covers. Because you don't want famous people to get pissed off at you for not asking to take ownership of their song and perform it. And I'm just going to say, Sheryl Crow, I love you. And I'd really love it, actually, if somehow you caught me doing this one day. And let me know what you thought, because, lady, is that okay for me to call you that? Shit. I'm going to get myself in trouble before I get started. You write stuff that just grabs my soul. It's called We Do What We Can. lozenge out of mouth is a good idea, just in case. I wouldn't want to launch it at my nice camera. So Cheryl, yeah, I haven't played piano in like 30 years. I did actually sit down with my crappy keyboard that I can't play because it's not a piano. I'm such a purist. Love my guitar. It doesn't look like I love it. And neglect of the things I love is another part of my illness. I did sit down and try and learn how to do this on the piano, and I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I'm getting old. I'm not sick. It's allergy season, and I inhaled a lot of sweetgrass incense about 40 minutes ago. Here he goes there. Let's check. Downstairs, the plane canter. I set the swing. I lay in my bed, listen to everything. 'Cause Leo's in rare form tonight. His trombone sings so sweet. This is the room where they all come to me. I do what I can, live for the moment, that's who I am. That's who I am. Isn't it good if we could freeze moments, time we all would do what you can, do what we can. Downstairs the playing canter, magnified sighs, and oh how the music has changed in all of our lives. He said, nobody listens to modern dreams, and I'll never have what those guys have. I do what I can, I work for a living, that's who I am. That's who I am. It's good to be alive. These are the choices we make to survive. Do what you can. This the end of the modern world. What could it mean for a young girl who sees the pain on his face? He does what he can. The position on the TV screen, what could it possibly mean for a man who's come this far just to turn around, still be laughing can swing. Kennedy's gone and everything. Shadows of past in optimistic colors. Democratic grandparents, rough dodging brothers, riots in the streets, discontented mothers. Do what you can. Downstairs it's quiet, less alive somehow. Somehow he was everything I am now. Do what I can. I work for a living. That's who I am. That's who I am. It's good to be alive, but everything's different since y'all died. Do what you can. Well, I look like I'm going out of focus on my happy camera, my fancy camera. I got to take that off my shoulder for a little while. One of my dilemmas as a performer, etc., especially with the guitar, is the fact that, I've been a little rough on my body, and I have some neck issues, and wearing the overalls is that was not a good idea. So, a little more of the cautionary tale. If you're young and you haven't broken yourself yet, take care of yourself. And if you're older, like me, I don't think I'm old yet, but sometimes I really feel it. And you have any ability to get better, do it. I am going to continue to be a dedicated pedestrian and walk as much as I can until I can't anymore. Actually, I'm better off to be standing, moving. One of the reasons why I'm so happy about this over here, Instagram, is because sitting and bending, and I need to be either horizontal or vertical. I have done a lot, but not maintained myself very well. Again, self-neglect and abuse and things like that are just they go hand in hand with the way that I developed as a sensory perceiver and communicator in a intellectually driven world. And it was part of what the problem is. I really hope to start organizing some of these thoughts in my cycle wave brain that is not linear by any stretch of the imagination. One of the things that really tripped me up and got me to this point here is I realized, after trying really desperately hard for many decades to be the kind of linear thinker and functioner, and even like my activity and I don't want to get into different diagnoses and stuff like that, because I've been told I sound a lot like I'm ADHD, and that's a whole other topic of conversation. We have a lot of issues and disorders that have blown up, not because we are more aware and catching them. It's because we're over aware and creating them. one of the reasons why I seem like I have ADHD is because, like the universe, I work in cycles and waves. And when I allow myself to do that, and I'm learning how to do that, thank you, organizations like Workman Arts, places like Show Gallery, that really made me understand how much the show. I'm such a freaking contradiction. When I was a teenager, I used to say I was a walking, talking contradiction. And then I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And then I got like sort of lost in this hole of lacking mental proper, well, again, I had my first trauma therapy when I was 15. So I like was in, and I did my first peer support training in 1988. And so I was on this train at the beginning, like at the real beginning of it really becoming a conversation and part of my education. I became a peer support in high school. And it was actually really like, I almost went into, I actually wanted to study music therapy. And I wanted to work with autistic children. That was my original. But I saw what was happening. And I didn't like it. I got to tell you. And I wish I'd been such a witless coward and didn't try to just fall in line and not rock the boat, because I got trained really early. Like that therapist that I was with when I was first diagnosed, she was like amazed at my coping skills and all the things I'd figured out. And when she left me, she had to, because I was too old. Mandates have been affecting people's lives for a lot longer than COVID. When I hit a certain age, I was no longer qualified for her services. And I kind of fell into this hole of trying for years actually to get into concurrent disorders, and once being put into an addiction recovery program. And that was actually really good. It was a good thing to do. But, addiction is this. That first therapist completely agreed with me. My drinking was really kind of a byproduct of all of the rest of the shit I was dealing with. And I found out that it was more than that, because I think that some of us are just born. I like the way in the big book of AA, they refer to it as an allergy. Because you have there are those of us with a physiological response. I put alcohol in my body and I can't stop wanting to put it in my body. And that is not something that happens to everybody who puts alcohol in their body. There's something in my makeup. And I can remember being very, very young, as people were loosening up in the 70s. I remember being 3 to 4 years old. Actually, I remember being in training pants still. And my father would be at school teaching, and my mother would be at home. She worked nights as a nurse on weekends. By the time I was around, it was just weekends, because there's no way she could work full time. No. I was number 5 or 5. That woman was, okay. I'm getting all over the place. I'm doing a live stream. I'm completely just ad-libbing. And I just lost my place. But I needed to give my shoulder a little bit of a whirl before I sang another song. Yeah. And that's how Dorothy has a brain fart. Thank you very much to my, welcome to my brain. This is what happens. I go around in circles, and sometimes it works. I still get derailed because, there has to be a beginning and the end. It's been coming out a lot of spiraling going on in in my artwork lately. I just did an exhibition at Show Gallery. Yes, Show Gallery. I just did my 5th exhibition since January. My first exhibition was started January 22nd, 2020. It figures my time would be the dawn of the apocalypse. I have now just finished my 5th, which turned into a dress rehearsal for the next one. It was definitely a staging event. It took me 4 days to hang it. Doing all of this stuff has really made me realize not only am I like inherently a performer, but I literally trained for it as a child, having the privilege of being in the Catholic school system. There were certain things that happened that I got to be part of. I got to dance, do traditional Irish dancing at the opening ceremonies for the Roy Thompson Hall. I got to dance on the stage of the Roy Thompson Hall. There were some shows that happened in the MSSB. I was in choir from like grade 1. So a lot of performance practice and big shows, not little shows. Like I'm being part of that kind of production, something that I was trained to do at a really early age. So, like I disappeared from it all for a very long time and came back to it and had the opportunity through Workman Arts, singing with the Bruce Years Choir, to be in Luminato. That was a beautiful experience for this tree lover here, to be part of. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to even try because I won't do it any justice right now. It's been a while. But it was a contemporary Aboriginal piece about basically trees. And I got to perform at Luminato and be part of that. And it was, I think, how many, was it 8 choirs? Yeah. It's been a long couple of years because this was 2019. So this is pre-COVID performance at Luminato, and I got to stand there on the water and sing and be part of this big, spectacular, beautiful musical expression. But it was being part of that big production that really made it click in my head how like literally programmed I was for this kind of stuff. Early, I was trained. Young children, you get them in that first 6 to 12 years and you teach them stuff and they absorb it. And that's everything. So my inability to take care of myself. And it sounds like an excuse, but we're talking about like the literal hardwiring, the mapping of your hardwiring as you grow. What gets presented to you, especially in terms of who you are as a person, how you're regarded, how you're treated by certain behaviors, and how you react to them, really shapes your behaviors as you grow. And we've forgotten about that with children. We forgot about children by the 80s, when the big drive was privilege and entitlement at all costs without any responsibility. This is what the fact that we basically turned all aspects of life into business ventures. Yeah. I'm not going to preach too much. I did that earlier on Facebook and on YouTube with a video that I posted. Part of what I do, and I didn't choose it. I've always been this way. Ask anybody who knew me when I was younger that there are some things that I can't bite my tongue, and I hate dishonesty. I will tell you things that will make me look really, really bad because I'm a human being, and that's okay. By the way, it's okay to be a human being. It's okay to be flawed. We all are. I've come up with a really, really good analogy recently. I talk about God. And the best way to get your head around God is good, orderly direction. G-O-D, good, orderly direction. I keep trying to get people to understand that one of our problems is the way that we perceive God. We think of God as some external being that has some influence or control over us. And that isn't the case. The more you see things, and they talk about parallel universes and stuff, and the meta and meta and meta and meta and meta. Think of God like a guy. We all think of God as, a lot of people have this Judeo-Christian notion, and it's not. It's actually a literary, thank you, Milton. It's God on a cloud. More Greek mythology than Christian mythology. Don't get me wrong, but I see the world from a different vantage point than most people do. There are those of us who see from a big picture perspective. And most people, the average person, and this isn't, no offense. It's not a better or worse. It's a different and necessary. We need to have people who see the big picture, who connect the dots. Certain people get really mad at me because I talk about seemingly completely different things. And the problem is they're just, it's like formula writing. It's like formal logic in mathematics. You can put any gobbledygook in as your subject matter. If you follow the rules of formal logic, you will make sense. It doesn't matter if you're talking about big angles and doing their truking. As long as you have certain types of words, you can make anything sound like it makes sense. And a lot of this has happened academically over the past 30 years as we've, neglected certain things in the name of our own arrogant knowledge. Fuck, man. Sorry, the more I go along, the more the Judeo-Christian Bible makes sense to me. Again, I was raised as a Catholic. That's my frame of reference where I started, and I walked away from it for a really, really long time and just looked at the world through this, metascape that I look at it through. And I wish I could get somebody to actually come upstairs and look down with me, or at least try. I can come down to the sidewalk. It's a very frustrating place for me to be. You just keep coming down to the sidewalk. It's kind of like Plato's cave. You go down in the cave, you try to drag people up into the sunlight. Again, it's just different perceptions, it's different ways and different vantage points. And I've been forced my whole life to see it from a vantage point that I don't see from, and to function in that way of thinking. So it's been 6 years of deconstructing that and getting into my own rhythm, and I'm getting there. Starting to make some sense. Am I starting to make some sense? If anybody's actually still watching, am I making any sense? This is the question. So, yeah, God is like a guy, a human being, and we are like gut bacteria, right? God doesn't necessarily have the power to control us. God can do certain things that influence us, but we do a lot of the trajectory pointing. We basically are God's shit creators. Anyway, I had a better way of saying that. That was a really, really roundabout way to present it. But there you go. I've been doing this for almost an hour now. Wow. The babble. It's better than, spending the afternoon alone. Just sort of airing some thoughts and trying to figure out how I'm going to make the next few months work. I want to sing a song, but I'd rather do an original. Again, it doesn't look like anybody's actually watching right now. This will be saved for posterity. May cut out some bits and make some smaller videos in my spare time and try to get them up. Thank you to those who did drop by. Let's see if I can do this. What am I going to pull out? I gotta get up out of bed. I gotta stand, know where I am. I gotta move back in the groove. But I'm so stuck, oh, I'm stuck in a rut. I wanna rise and shed this sky. I wanna see all I can be. I wanna move back in the groove. But I'm so stuck, oh, I'm stuck in this rut. And if I ask you to put a dime on my head, 'cause I'm skipping, I just forgot. Record player is dead. Nobody gets the analogy. You can see I'm so stuck. Oh, I'm stuck in my rut. So if I ask you to put a dime on my head, 'cause I'm skipping, I just forgot. Record player is dead. Nobody gets the analogy. You can see I'm so stuck. Oh, I'm stuck in my rut. I wanna strive and be alive. I wanna say, catch a brass ring. I wanna move back in the groove. But I'm so stuck, oh, I'm stuck in my rut. I'm out of luck, oh, I'm stuck in this rut. Give me a nudge, 'cause I'm stuck in a rut. Yep, I get stuck in ruts all the time. That whole put a dime on my head because I'm skipping goes back to high school, and even back then, as we were transitioning through cassette tapes to CDs, people didn't get it. But you'd have a record player, and you have a scratch in your record. And in order to get the needle to stay in the groove and not slide along the scratch, you would put a dime on the head of like where the needle was for the record. And it would prevent, it worked. It did. A lot of times it would work. All you needed was the weight of a dime. Something like a nickel would most definitely be too much weight. Nickel or a quarter or dimes. Dimes are really great coins, actually. They're the best for scratch tickets. If you ever do scratch tickets, I am not like a gambler. I admit wholeheartedly that me and alcohol, I just cannot put that stuff in my system because I can't stop. I can't get myself to be a pill taker. I just don't like taking pills. And things like putting needles in my arm or stuff up my nose, forget it. I'm a smoker. I've always been a smoker. So cannabis is the natural medicine that I utilize for numerous issues. And as I figure that balance out, that's working really, really well. I am a firm believer that if we actually get to know this beautiful gift that we've been given and get used to it, and, instead of trying to fix everything that's uncomfortable, actually like going, okay, yeah, this is squiggy, but, there are lots of things that are acquired tastes in life. And there are lots of things that you really can't appreciate until you get to the other side of the discomfort of them. And like this arrogant notion that human beings know better than nature kind of really pisses me off. Because if we really just like stop thinking about it and just listen to this, it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. It really does. It really, really does. And there is scientific proof for the fact that we're energetic beings. And people who see auras are actually seeing the energy that is emanating from our bodies, that actually does emanate from our bodies. Basic science. Energy is never created nor destroyed. It simply changes forms. Wealth, by the way, like energy, cannot be created. Value, however, can be destroyed. Think of value as the amount of energy going through a wire. And the longer the distance and the more connections that we make it go through, the more of that is lost. That's the science of our economics, of our consumer capitalism, by the way. Wealth cannot be created. Value can be destroyed. We are like God's gut bacteria. Just some thoughts. Said with love. I am gut bacteria. I get it. I'm willing to admit it. I'm willing to look in the mirror and see the shit on my face so I can wipe it off. How about we all do that? Because we're all responsible. This notion that, somehow as democratic citizens, none of us are frickin' responsible for anything. Goes back to, when we screwed up with corporations and let them apply the Jim Crow laws and designate corporations legal persons so as to limit liability from real persons, like all those bankers that should have gone to jail like they did in Iceland. That's what consumer capitalism has created. Not democratic citizens. The illusion of it. Sorry. I really, I know I make people uncomfortable, but it's not me that makes people uncomfortable. I'm just a frickin' messenger. What can I say? How can I end this? I'm going to sing you one more song. I'm trying to choose. You know what? This is called The Human Blues. There's a big difference between tolerance and acceptance. And the things that we accept and the things that we reject. I really think we've gotten backwards, kids. I only have 11 seconds remaining for some reason live on Instagram, so goodbye. It's gonna cut me off. Oh. I guess I'm gonna have to deal with Instagram. I'm gonna sing this verse for y'all on YouTube before I go away. I wanna touch it. Know what's sitting in the fridge, no. Know what's sitting in the cupboard, no. I know what it is that I want. Only know that I don't want what I got. I know what I really want, because I only want what it is that I don't got. No one who's paying me my check, no. Don't like them making me wreck, no. I know what it is that I want. Only know that I don't want what I got. I know what I really want, because I only want what it is that I don't got. No one who's sleeping in my bed, no. Don't like these voices in my head, no. No, no, no. I know what it is that I want. Only know that I don't want what I got. I know what I really want, because I only want what it is I don't got. No food, no drink, no head, no. No checks, no wrecks, no sex, no. I know what it is that I want. Only know that I don't want what I got. Don't know what I really want, because I only want what it is that I don't got. What it is that I don't got. If I've got it, then I don't want it. If I want it, then I don't got it. I only want what it is, yeah, that I don't got. And that's pretty much the way we are, right? Like, I was given all this wonderful stuff and I don't like any of it. Now I'm going to change it. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to find somebody else who's going to tell me that, I'm right. And I don't know. Yeah. Does it suck that I think we're a bunch of arrogant fools that instead of, opening our minds with the Enlightenment, got blinded by entitlement? That's another blog that I have yet to actually write, but it's been the product of the past 24 hours in my head. Writing, I think I wrote it down actually in a post today, yeah. I've been wondering, what the hell is the point of the Enlightenment, guys? For, a long time already. And then the past 2 years happened. And, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I just think that I see from a different place and perspective. And if people had been more willing to hear it 30 years ago, and if I hadn't been such a, line towing coward that, just got convinced I need to not rock the boat and earn my keep. And, I was a good girl and I followed all the rules. I did everything the way I was supposed to do it. And I'm still here, but I'm here. And I have at least the cover of an artist to allow me to say the things, to be the tool of the universe. Like, honestly, I don't see myself as a creator, by the way. And a song that I'm gonna write a whole, I maybe not write a whole song, but maybe a verse or two for it. I don't want to do this for money, but money is how it is done. I just want to share and try to play fair and remember that we are all one. This feels like prostitution. Always has. You know, to be honest, the reason why I didn't become a writer inevitably was because I didn't want to have to deal with editors telling me that I had to change words so that I could sell it in Walmart. That would have put me in the hospital a lot sooner. I mean, I did get to 42 before that happened. Life, the universe, and everything happened. I don't see myself as a creator. I see myself as a tool of creation. I'm multidisciplinary because the universe shows me things in many different forms. Some of that is beauty. If you follow me on Instagram at bystresscookie, BYSTRESSCOOKIE, exactly how it sounds. You'll see a lot more of, I guess, the beauty that I capture because a lot of it is in photography, spontaneous photography. I capture, the universe shows me things in different ways and I spit it out however the universe wants me to. I take that energy and I transform it into photographs and paintings and videos and songs and poetry. I was going to read a poem or two, but I have been like babbling on for over an hour. And in my last few hours of having Wi-Fi, I have a few more things that I need to do besides this. Although this is like really way too much fun, just standing here talking to the world. No one's actually watching right now. I do hope people view later, and I thank you very much. I'm no longer feeling shame about being a starving artist. I do not want to ask people for money. I do want to find ways to put the stuff that the universe is trying to get me to put out to the world out and allow people to express what value they find back to me to help support me in expressing that value. That doesn't necessarily mean money, comments, just checking out what I'm doing. Money does help. There are a few things I need to tend to that I don't know how to do myself, that I keep trying to do everything by myself. I have a website that I have to decide in the next couple months what I'm doing with. I do want to keep my domain name, dollarts.com, DOLARTS.com. Yeah, so this has been fun, and I hope to be able to do it again soon. I will not be doing much streaming with the fancy camera because the feed's bigger, it's more information, more gigabytes, and I'm running off of cell phone data as of midnight tonight for the next little while. Thank you very much for tuning in and checking out what I'm doing and helping me celebrate this wonderful space that I have while I can still share it publicly with ease. I have a exhibition I mentioned earlier. My last exhibition ended up being staging for my next, which is June 6th to 15th at Show Gallery in downtown Toronto, Ontario at 978 Queen Street West. More information about that will be coming out both on my website and my Instagram. And those of you who are friends of mine on Facebook, and all that jazz. I also have the Buy Me a Coffee account, which I will probably do a post on today before I run out of Wi-Fi, so I can be more free in uploading photographs and stuff to let people know what's going on. Never been great at saying goodbye, so we'll just say it's been a pleasure sharing with you. Thank you, fellow human beings. Have a wonderful Sunday afternoon, or whatever day of the week it is that you're watching.